Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cato in Motion Plays. We're your hosts. I'm Cato in Motion, and this is producer Mike. Say hey, Mike.
Hey!
Awesome. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about traveling and visiting places, seeing as everyone's obviously quarantined or in lockdown right now. Thought it'd be kind of nice to take everyone away to a different place. With that being said, I think we're going to get this ball rolling. What is the name of the stage we're on right now? We are on Shadowthorn Thicket. This is the 10th level of Trine 2009. If you're just joining us, we are playing the Trine series from beginning to end, and then discussing various topics every single session we have. So feel free to chime in the comments. We're happy to answer questions or get you involved in the discussion. All right, let's do this, Mike.
Oh my gosh, it's another dark level. Don't we have...
Yeah, I think we're both dying. Yep.
I think there's poison.
Yep. Probably should have done that first.
So you set fire arrows to candles?
Yeah. We learned that earlier. Oh, I died because I spent too much time in the poison earlier. I was just careless.
We did learn that earlier. Okay.
We did. I only used it once in that level, and then I just totally forgot about it until now.
Kevin, where's the most interesting place you've ever visited?
That's a tough question, because for most of my life I haven't traveled at all, and then all of a sudden I turned like 25, and then I was going 2-3 places a year. I'd probably say it's a close one between Ghana.
Yeah.
And Ecuador.
Ecuador, okay.
Yeah, two completely different places, but in both cases, I was hanging out with locals, and there were kind of unique circumstances. So in the case of Ecuador, I went with my good friend Marco. I stayed with him and his family. Basically, no one was speaking English to me that entire trip, so that was a struggle. And we did a lot of busking, and the busking culture there is just totally different. You don't stand in one spot, for example. You actually walk around. You have to thank people and thank God for this gift and stuff. There's like this whole song and dance you got to do when you're busking that you just don't have to do elsewhere. So that was a very interesting experience. Ghana was cool though because I actually went with a local politician. Like I spent all my time with him. I was performing at his wedding. So I got to hang out with a lot of big wigs, including, was it a minister of defense or the head of police? So I got to hang out with him for a while. The prime minister, or I guess president, I can't remember, was supposed to be at this guy's wedding. I met a lot of interesting people. And basically I was escorted everywhere. So that's kind of what made that trip interesting.
So you were like... a guest of honor the whole time. Yeah, literally, they had me come out to play one song, which kind of blew my mind. But they treated me like a guest of honor. They even sent me back home with gifts for my wife. It was really
kind of surreal. That I think about though, I think I like Ecuador better.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're very different, so at least you have variety in these two choices, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, there's more poison. There's more poison.
Yeah. I'm totally gonna die, but we need that Oh my gosh, good call, man. Whoa! Nice one, Mike.
Ah! I'm almost dead though. Yeah, you need to get... You died? Oh no.
Yeah, I was trying to jump up on the platform. It's okay, this all happened because I was careless at the beginning. Or we both jumped in acid at the beginning, but there's...
I didn't know that was acid too. I could have made another thing. Okay, I guess the game's getting difficult. I guess the game's getting difficult, so we have to step it up a notch. Well, those are two really good ones, man. You know, I tell you what, I would love to go to Ghana sometime. It's on my very, very short list, you know? I worked with... When I worked at the bank, first time I was in university, I dropped out to put out an album. And then, by the way, there's some like green experience juice over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to get it? Yeah, sweet. You got it? Noise.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, there's a chest there. One sec, gonna grab that, but go on.
Yeah, so I was working at the bank. I dropped out of school and I put out an album and I just tried to be a professional musician, you know?
Yeah.
And I went back to school a year after that. But anyways, I took 1 year off and I worked at a bank as a bank teller, which was a really interesting job. I learned a lot about, where do I go? I think I go up here and to the right. Not really finance, more just personal management. You know,
Oh, okay, that makes
like there was some bank lingo I learned, but most of that is non-transferable. Most of that's pretty useless. But what I did learn is about when you work at a bank, you see everybody's personal banking habits, and it made me a lot more like frugal and less careless and this and that. So, because when you're a bank teller, you don't get paid that much money. It's like $10 an hour job. It's just a fancy $10 an hour job. So
Yeah.
you have to like wear a shirt and tie as a guy, and I think the women, they usually like, you know, everybody's got to be clean and stuff. And not saying you don't have to be clean for every job, but you know what I'm saying. it's you got to be kind of white collar looking. Found Stormhammer skill for the night. I was working as a bank teller, and as I was working as a bank teller, I was working with a few people who were from Ghana in Columbus, Ohio. And they were really cool, really nice people. And I was super interested because there was like a Ghanaian community there. Oh, I killed the wizard.
Oh, jeez. I thought there was something down there, which is why you weren't saying it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, Ghanaian
So
community.
yeah, so I had some Ghanaian coworkers, and there's like a Ghanaian, well, you know how there's often ethnic enclaves. There's often a lot of people from one immigrant group who kind of live in the same area, right? So there were a lot of Ghanaian immigrants in Columbus that were all kind of living in the area where the bank was, where that particular bank branch was. So so there were a bunch of like Ghanaian clients, and there were my coworkers. A couple of them were Ghanaian, and they always spoke Twi to each other. And I just thought Twi was the coolest sounding language ever. And
It is pretty cool.
I bought like a book in Twi. I didn't really learn much. It was just one of those like, it's one of those ideas that sounded
Jump
great.
up on the platform.
Jump up on the platform? Jump up on the platform?
To the left, to the left, to the left, to the left, go back.
But how do I jump up onto the platform?
No, there's a platform right in front of you. That one.
It's the controller's in the way. It's saying change my weapon. Okay, I'll change my weapon. Hold for secondary attack. Okay.
Yes.
That's really cool. Wonderful. Okay. But oh my goodness. I have a good story. We're just dying too much. Anyways.
Go on.
So they were speaking Twi, and like I listened to Twi every day, and I don't know. Just, I had a really good experience with some coworkers, and I thought, Ghana, and that's, and the one thing I learned about Ghana from Wikipedia is that a lot of, like, jazz and blues music and stuff is based off of a lot of the rhythms and things that were developed from Ghana. That was my underconfident music history, musicology description there, because I don't want to be full of crap. Maybe in the edit, I'll post some things from Wikipedia.
Actual like facts.
But I think that's true-ish. Now I'm worried about saying untrue things on the stream.
Honestly, there's a whole bunch of genres that come out of Ghana.
Okay.
So many genres I never knew existed that they have that clearly like pop artists in North America have like drawn from. And I think they will become more popular in coming years as well.
What do I do, by the way?
So that would not surprise me.
So yeah, so Ghana's been on my short list of places I really want to visit. Haven't been there yet. Really want to go there. You hit X with the thing, yeah. When you're the knight and you switch, you hit Y and then you hit X. Oh, you're using keyboard mouse. I don't know what you got.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, what do we do? How do we get over there? Because we can't just fall down. You die when you fall down.
Yeah, there's something above us we actually have to hit. So I'm gonna let you use the knight because I don't know what button it is and it didn't really tell me. There we go, that thing.
Oh, sweet.
That's what we needed.
So yeah.
Yeah, the music is definitely on point and very diverse.
Well, cool.
How did we get into the music of Ghana?
We were talking about what's the most interesting place you've ever been to. And you've been to Ghana, and you've been to Ecuador.
No. Yes, and I remember that we were talking about that. I was just wondering how we got into the music from your coworkers.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just a musician, and so at the time, I would look up things like this. Because I was fascinated by the situation I found myself in working at this bank, you know? I was having a cultural experience working at a bank in Columbus.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. I'm using this, like, heavy hammer thing. This thing's awesome, I guess. I don't know. I like the sword, too. But yeah, I don't know. I think the most interesting place I've ever been to is when I was living in Georgia. I mean, that whole place was kind of the most interesting place I've ever been to. There was a surprise a minute, you know? Where are we going, by the way?
I think we're going up, man.
Up? Alright.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you lived in Georgia.
Yeah. So, like, that country was just one interesting story after the next. Quite a different place.
I need you to come back here.
But when
Get on my side.
When I went to...
Okay.
When I did, like, it was a week long, I think, vacation, or a long weekend. Maybe it was Easter weekend, I forget exactly when. But I went to Yerevan in Armenia. Now that was quite an intriguing place.
Attack the ropes.
Attack the ropes?
There's ropes above us. I didn't mean to use that skill.
Ah! Ha ha ha!
Alright, that was
genius. Sweet. So yeah, I don't know. I thought Yerevan in Armenia was maybe one of the most interesting places I've ever been. I think maybe that was just the most interesting trip I'd ever taken.
What made it so interesting? I have no idea what's there or what the Armenian culture is.
Well, the mountains were absolutely gorgeous. That was the thing I remember the most. We hitchhiked there, and we hitchhiked like not speaking the same language as the people who drove us, and that was crazy.
Ballsy.
That was the ballsiest thing I think I've ever done. So, I have a feeling we're nearing the... Ill-advised? Yeah, in hindsight, maybe. I don't think I'd ever do it again. I think it was just that was that time of my life when I was 25 and I did stuff like that, you know? Might as well have adventures while you're young and get away with it.
This is true.
Yeah.
I feel like I did something equally crazy.
Yeah.
But it's probably best if I don't remember, because I recall the ending being that I should never tell my wife about it, even though I tell her everything, and now I'm trying to remember what it was. This is gonna bother me. And now I'm gonna tell her, because now I'm thinking about it.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, we can skip that part.
Did you go on a high school trip together? If you're high school, did you take any trips, like, or did your band or orchestra go anywhere big?
Unfortunately, I could never afford it, but all my friends went. My high school went to a lot of really cool places. There was the Italy trip. I think that was like the really big one. They spent a lot of time in Rome and did concerts there. And I think they went to Venice for a bit. It was a long trip, man.
Yeah.
And expensive. And then where was the other place they went? Anyways, yeah, my high school had a great band, and they invested heavily in them, so... Trips galore, man. Trips galore. We also got to go to Wonderland every single year. And do a performance, and then enjoy ourselves for the rest of the day, which was also great.
Like Michael Jackson's house?
Oh, no. Sorry, Canada's Wonderland is like the big theme park for us. I know, like, in the US, you guys have 1 million, and if you go to Florida, you have like 1 billion theme parks.
Oh, especially in Ohio, man. Yeah, we got Cedar Point and
Really?
Kings Island in Ohio.
Oh. I don't know.
Anyways, I'm not expecting you to know those things, but Cedar Point has a lot of records. Cedar Point has a lot of, like the fastest and tallest rides and stuff. They compete.
Really?
They're in those competitions for
I didn't know that.
coasters that set records and things. Yeah. And what's cool is this park just has all these world record setting coasters that get defeated by other competing places, but in the meantime, you just have a great park, you know?
Yeah.
Even if something is like, oh, well, this had the record in 2006 and now it's beat out. Well, it's still fast enough to make me almost poop my pants, you know? So I don't know how we got on the roller coasters thing. Is that Wonderland? Yeah, Wonderland. And
Wonderland was the trigger.
Aha.
Wonderland's obviously not as impressive as any American park, I'm guessing.
Okay, so what we're doing here is, Kevin, is we're switching characters from the characters that we're best at. So, yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna cut that out.
I'll let you do that.
My university took a trip to Europe, and it was really interesting. We got to sing in a lot of old churches, and I think it really shaped my adulthood, because after that, I always kind of wanted to move back here, and now I live in Europe, and I did classical music stuff in churches. So old churches, old buildings that are hundreds and hundreds of years old, older than the United States, and I don't know, I just think that stuff's kind of interesting, kind of neat. So.
Oh, same. I mean, part of the reason why my wife and I moved out here.
Yeah, it's like you travel and you say, you know what, I can live there. And then you do a lot of paperwork and you wait patiently for a long time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I just found a card. I just found out like a Hallmark card from my mom and dad saying congratulations for finishing your visa and getting your visa and moving to Belgium. So that's what spring cleaning projects can do, you know? You uncover a really nice Hallmark card. It made me smile. It was nice. Got to enjoy that one a second time. You know? It's very thoughtful. I don't send cards. I gotta start sending cards. I know it's like an old person thing to do, you know?
Yeah, not
but they're really valuable.
Card culture. That's just not my thing. My whole family's not really into that. So when
I don't so much know that it's my whole family, it's just my mom. She's really good about it. It's kind of an old school thing to get into, but I'm not saying that to make fun of her. On the contrary, I thought it was really nice the other day, coming across that. So, but anyways, yeah, it's that kind of stuff. Because, you know, when you live over here, it is kind of crazy. You are far away. And I think it's a totally different experience than when you're visiting a place. When you're visiting a place, your eyes are always wide open. You're kind of observing everything every single day.
it's true.
Yeah, whereas I try to do that. I try to be mindful of that and say, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. Or at least be grateful, even if I'm not constantly awe-inspired. Even if it's just gratitude. Like, hey, this is a neat market. This is a neat restaurant. This is a neat whatever. Or even day-to-day stuff. But on the flip side, living somewhere, I think it's very different than when you visit, you know?
100%. I was just so alert, like when I moved to Belgium, which hasn't even been that long, it's been like 8 months.
Yeah.
8 months? Yeah.
Wow.
I was just constantly alert every single day, and there was just this heightened awareness that I never had back home. Even if I was going to a new place in Canada, that just wasn't the case because I was very comfortable. Whereas, you know, you live abroad, it changes you and it gives you more of a world view. So, I mean, anyone listening to this, if you haven't traveled a lot or if you haven't lived anywhere else, strongly encourage that you do it. I think it really is a life-changing experience, and it'll let you appreciate other cultures in a way that you really can't from your own backyard. Even if you live in North America and it's multicultural, it's not the same.
Yeah. So I think put down in the comments where you've been, you know?
Yeah, please do. We'd love to hear what places you've been to and what you liked about them, or if there's any that you recommend, because we love traveling. So New ideas are welcome. It's gonna be a while before we can travel, but as soon as it's all clear to do so, gonna make up for lost time for sure.
I'm making these planks for you guys in the chat.
Not even sure why, but this concludes this level. So thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you for the next session. Once again, I'm CATOINMOTION, this is producer Mike. We will see you next time.